How to improve your communication. As usual, the ideas communicated in this video diverge from mainstream teaching. I'm not going to hit you with journal or I can't recall. I have no idea what the mainstream convergence is on this subject. But what I do know is whatever you hear today is unique. Whatever you hear today wasn't researched, wasn't gotten from a book, wasn't distilled with personal experience. As a consequence, shove it to my audience to veneer as unique. Because that's what most people on the internet do. They find a subject, they veneer it with personal experience and anecdotes such that you believe its originality. Unfortunately, it's still the same point. It's still the same journal. It's still the same read 30 pages a day. And even if I'm to go that route and share that concept, I will tell you why you should do said thing, not only to do said thing. Because people on the internet parrot other individuals' opinion. When invited to a podcast or a platform to share those ideas, everything is just regurgitation. Probe deeper on their philosophy. They are found wanting. They begin to stutter. They just share opinions and anecdotes, not why you should do certain things. If there's no why behind an action, fatigue, lack of motivation, and finally quitting is inevitable. If you don't tell me why I should read 30 pages daily, one day after a month or two of being consistent, why am I doing this? Why am I giving an hour, 2 hours of my time to this venture? Let's strike a balance. I'm not in any way against the idea of reading books. In fact, I read books myself. I truly believe it's a profitable venture. I truly believe reading is like intercourse with superior minds, then pouring their soul into yours. So reading is profitable. I totally agree. But why should you read? Which leads me to the first point. Reading. In order to improve your communication, you must read. Why should you read? Why should you read 30 pages daily? Read in order to improve your knowledge on various subjects because you can be the most articulate person on the face of the planet. If you have no idea on that subject, you would stutter, you would create the opposite of the desired outcome. Communication is learned in an attempt to portray confidence, in an attempt to gain finances. It has all of these positive traits associated. If you know well about a subject, in fact, every single one of you are good communicators. Recall that time you were sharing a gossip, you were narrating a story, an event, and you could see the excitement. You were so articulate and confident. All you need to do is to learn to summon this talent at will. You cannot replicate that situation if you don't have sufficient knowledge on various subjects. If you've been reading history books, opt for business books. If you've been reading fiction, you can switch it to business. So switch a rule, broaden your horizon on various subjects. It would make you far more interesting as an individual. So the goal of communication is not to get the additional perks. The goal of communication is to improve your social skills, improve your ability to network. Very recently, I was in a room with very powerful people. I and the guy, the man, we got into a conversation about innovation. And there I expounded so intelligently. Apple has fallen off the innovation race. During the time of Steve Jobs, Apple's glow up used to be a national excitement, and the way he would deliberately put effort into the presentation. Nowadays, it's just new colors and individuals reading off a teleprompt. There is no emotion, there is no passion, there is nothing behind those products. The man was actually impressed of my knowledge about history, not just history of the Apple company, how they started in a garage, how Steve Wozniak was very childish as a consequence, and all of the stories surrounding that company were able to do a deal worth a quite substantial amount. Now, that wouldn't have been possible if I focused on the generic, what do you do for living? No, people will do business if they like you. People will do business. People are willing to do business if they like you. Now, I'm making how much of a 15 to 20 minutes conversation? So you read to broaden your horizon. That's one of the ways to improve your communication skill. The second, still in that same table, one of the individuals highlighted the level of eloquence in my speech. How can I speak like you, my friend? Practice, right? I said, no. You're 40 years of age. You're significantly older than me. If it was practice, you should be better. Communication is part of our everyday life. So practice doesn't make perfect in this case. In fact, in any case, practice doesn't make perfect. It's feedback that makes perfect. That's the reason every single one of my videos will be better than the previous one, because I watched them back and I like what I did right as well as what I did wrong. Most people lean to one direction, which is what you did wrong. What you did wrong alone is not able to take you to the next level of communication, is not able to take you to the next level of whatever venture you're trying to improve. So you should also learn how to double down on your strength, how to improve on that which you're already doing right. Perfection is highly desirable. Nothing man-made is or can be perfect. To wait for perfection is to wait forever. Waiting to the point where all the wrongs have been corrected before you focus on the right, then improve. No, you can improve simultaneously. You can grow together. This is one of the things I'm thankful for at the infancy of my career. I recently recorded a video of which the truth, I think, what's the name of the video? The lies that holds you from achieving your desires. One of the lies I sustained was, in order to be successful, you have to be intelligent, confident, possess all of these traits you now admire me for. The drawback was I felt unworthy for success. I felt I needed to achieve certain level of eloquence, certain level of confidence, certain level of charisma before I would feel worthy to be a success, which isn't true. Which isn't true, by the way. There are people who are less intellectual than you with tons of money. There are 17, 16-year-old millionaires who haven't hit puberty yet. Yet, they're with all the hot models. Do you believe Eddie Ross, who was sucking off a rainbow colored dildo, is more intelligent than you sitting at home consuming this content in an attempt to improve the quality of your life As a consequence, every single person within the radius of you sends. Do you believe that? Are you an idiot? You need to sit and begin to ask serious questions as a professional. As I said in that previous video, that truth is whatever you make of it. If you believe in an idea, you would always act in accordance to that idea, to that belief. The princes of this world, they are after your mind. The princes of this world, says the Bible, the God of this world rather, has a plan to attack your mind and is constantly attacking your mind. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit down there, complain, bemoan the situation, point fingers, blame people, blame God, or you would stand up, take a stand, and change your life? It's a decision you have to make for yourself. Set before you life and death. Set before you blessings and curses. Can't force you. I can only advise you. Choose life. Choose life. And as always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.